Thank you very much, Michael. As you guys know, we've been talking for the last day and a half about how we can retrofit the environmental workforce. We have a shared goal to build a strong environmental workforce capable of meeting the needs both now and into the future. And I'm very excited to announce who our keynote speaker is going to be. We have none other than Minister Rajan Sawhney with us today. In her role as the Minister of Advanced Education, Minister Sawhney has demonstrated a profound understanding of the pivotal role that education plays in driving societal progress and fostering economic prosperity. Through her innovative policies and forward-thinking initiatives, she has worked tirelessly to expand access to higher education, promote academic excellence, and equip students with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in the ever-evolving global landscape. Please join me in welcoming someone who has environmental background. Minister Sawhney, come on up.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for that introduction. And boy, Michael, you are right. This is a very good-looking crew. I am so pleased to be here today, and I do want to congratulate all the organizers on a very successful conference. I'm hearing that there are over 300 people registered, and that is a phenomenal metric. Now, I just want to ask, how many are here from outside of the province? Who has traveled to Alberta by a show of hands? That is incredible. Welcome to Alberta. Really, that is incredible. That's a sign of success. Now, as I was perusing the agenda for this conference, and I wish I was able to come and attend some of these events, but my schedule has been ridiculously busy. But there were a few sessions that I thought were really interesting, and I'll just list them. How Fearless Women Lead. How is that one? Yeah, that would have been a great one to attend. The Canadian Youth Success Story, another very interesting session. Indigenous Communities and ESG. Yes? And of course, something that is very relevant to my ministry, Talent Magnet, how to attract talent to stand out in the market. I would have loved to attend these sessions, but you know, there's always next year. Now, in my haste to look over the agenda and try to understand what was happening at this conference, I really did neglect to look at my speaking notes. And I will admit, they were extremely dry, extremely boring. So today, I'm just going to go off the cuff and just talk about some of the things that are quite relevant to what you are all doing and are very relevant to myself as Minister of Advanced Education. And quite frankly, I heard that there was a hypnotist who was speaking yesterday, and I thought those are big shoes to follow, so you definitely don't want to hear some dry speaking notes. So today, I'm going to talk about three things. I want to talk about my personal background, first of all, so you have some information on what my journey has been into politics. And then I will talk about the labor market, particularly the demand side of that. And then I'll end by talking about Alberta's economy, particularly as it relates to the environment and to energy. And actually, I take that back. I will end by just reading a few pieces from my speaking notes because it's important for you to understand what our priorities are here in advanced education. So I will share some numbers with you, particularly as it relates to the trades and micro-credentialing. All right, so in terms of a personal background, I'm a native Calgarian, so this is my hometown, so thank you for having the conference here in Calgary this year. As I said, born and raised, a mother of 4, and I will talk about my eldest daughter shortly. I did all of my schooling here at the University of Calgary. I have a BA in Economics and Political Science. I followed that up with an MBA, also from Haskayne, and I also have an Environmental Management Certificate from SAIT, and my final project in that was about brownfield development and remediation and reclamation. So I want you to know that I do have a bit of a background, and certainly if you want to chat with me afterwards to talk about some issues that are salient to you, please don't hesitate. I also want to tell you a little bit of a story about my daughter, and that will kind of segue into how I got into politics. So my eldest daughter is a reservoir engineer, and in 2017 she was working out in Albania. And some of you who know me have heard this story before. And she has celiac, so while she was out there, she got quite sick, and she called me up and she said, "Mom, you know, I'm having a problem with the food here. Can you come out and give me a hand?" And of course, like any tiger mom, I I was on the plane, and I was out there and helping the chefs learn how to cook gluten-free food. But while I was out there, I also had the opportunity to travel the countryside of Albania. And what I got to see firsthand was the construction of the Trans-Adriatic Pipeline. So that pipeline comes all the way from Azerbaijan, through Greece, through Albania, and under the water to Italy. And I did see how that construction was taking place, and it's certainly nothing compared to how we do things here in Canada. But I was also struck by the fact that it was incredible that 4 or 5 different jurisdictions got together in the interest of security of supply, and were able to build critical infrastructure to make sure that they had access to the fuel that they needed. And so that was very eye-opening to me at the time, because obviously we don't have that same ability here in Canada. At the same time, my daughter had also said to me that, I don't see myself coming back to Alberta. I'm not sure if the energy industry is a place where I want to be. And of course, that was also a concern to me, because we have heard so many comments like that from people who are younger, students who are not seeing opportunities here in Alberta. So that was actually my first foray into encouraging and empowering and mentoring somebody who is younger to understand that there are vast and ample opportunities in this province. So based on that experience, I thought, I really do need to be more involved in the political sphere. And I forgot to mention that I have worked in the energy industry for over 23 years before getting into politics. And based on my experience and what I have seen in terms of the transition and where we're going with the hydrogen economy and CCUS, I felt it was important for me to actually talk about those things. I also worked at the AER, and I had the honor of working on the methane emissions abatement guidelines at that time. And during that experience, I had an opportunity to realize that some of our modeling was not where it needed to be, particularly on the federal side. And believe me, that is not a political statement. It is a statement of fact based on my experience as an energy professional and as somebody who's very involved in economic modeling. So these two experiences led me to believe that I need to get into politics to advocate for not only resource for development, but also for environmental stewardship, because these two things do go hand in hand, and there could be some debate around that, but I do defer back to my years of experience in saying to you that how we undertake resource extraction here in Alberta is top-notch. No other jurisdiction in the world even compares. So that is a little bit about my background, and now I want to talk about the labor market demand. First of all, it is a global phenomena that we have shortages in many different sectors, in healthcare, in IT, in the trades in particular. We don't have enough electricians, enough welders, enough journey persons in the country to actually undertake all the work that we need to do to make sure that we're on the path of economic development. And in my ministry, this is my primary mandate, to make sure that we tackle the labor market demands and fill those shortages. Now, I have also had the profound privilege of holding several different ministries, and whether it was my work in community and social services, making sure that vulnerable Albertans had a pathway into the workforce, or in my position as a Minister of Transportation to ensure that we had more commercial truckers coming into the province and training for that role, or in immigration. I was a Minister of Trade, Immigration and Multiculturalism, and we created pathways to make sure that people who wanted to come to Alberta in the healthcare sector or the IT sector, that we had those pathways available for them. It has been a multi-pronged strategy in government to make sure that every department and every ministry is focused on meeting this labor market demand. And we do have an Alberta Occupational Outlook report that is available if anybody is interested in looking at that. And again, it will tell you that we don't have enough engineers. I've already mentioned we don't have enough electricians and welders, and certainly there is a worldwide shortage of healthcare professionals, and we are working on that. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about Alberta's economy, particularly as it relates to the energy sector and as it intersects with environment. I can share many metrics with you. We've had great, tremendous growth in GDP. Our employment numbers are looking great. We've had significant investment decisions that have been made in Alberta as of late, and the Dow investment opportunity is one that comes to mind. Having said that, I do want to bring up the Emissions Reduction and Energy Development Plan. That is a report that was issued by the previous Minister of Energy, Minister Sonia Savage, and it has a tremendous write-up and all the things that are happening in Alberta in this particular space. And I would encourage you to have a read on that because we're doing so much on CCUS. There are opportunities in geothermal. The hydrogen economy is actually really, really bubbling. Not just here in Alberta, we're hearing lots of international interest in what's happening, and we are the leaders in technological advancement in this space. And in fact, in 2022, we provided $50 million of funding to the Hydrogen Centre of Excellence. And that is just indicative of how this province and how the government's intention is to move forward in these sectors of the economy. Of course, that report also talks about critical minerals. It talks about the circular economy and waste, bioenergy, transportation and buildings, forestry, heavy industry, and so much more. I really would encourage all of you to have a look at that report, and it will certainly give you lots of factual information on what has been happening here in Alberta. And now, I will actually just go back to my speaking notes here. There are a few portions of these notes that I do want to share with you as it relates to what Alberta is doing in terms of budget. So I do appreciate this opportunity to discuss the role of Alberta's post-secondary education system as we look toward a more sustainable future. More than ever before, governments all over the world are asking themselves how to be ready for the future, how to support the people who make up the workforce, to prepare them for new demands and expectations for new technologies, and a host of new career options. Alberta's government is no different. We have the same challenges to assess skills and competencies and to align them with industry needs, to anticipate trends and larger directions with the ultimate goal of improving the agility, resilience, and responsiveness to our workforce. We see Alberta's future as a place of incredible opportunity, and we want to make sure Albertans can meet their potential and enjoy rewarding careers. As a Minister of Advanced Education, I truly feel post-secondary education in our province is powered by the future. Now, looking ahead, we can see some key demands on the horizon. Emerging from the demand for all those important sustainable solutions are careers that lean heavily on the skilled trades. Now, I did mention this before. I'm not sure if there's a lot of interest in this room on the skilled trades and apprenticeships, but it is part of my mandate because, again, that is where we are seeing the greatest labor shortages. So part of my role as Minister is to talk about what we're doing in the province, and certainly I would encourage you to share this information with all the young people in your life. Alberta is modernizing our skilled trades and apprenticeship system through the Skilled Trades and Apprenticeship Education Act. We are seeing apprenticeship registration in Alberta rise sharply over the past 2 years, reflecting forward-thinking investments from both industry and government. To keep up with the demand, and this is where I'm going to share some numbers with you, to keep up with this demand, we've invested more than $54 million in apprenticeship seats at post-secondary institutions in 2023. Now I would like to talk about parity of esteem. Does anybody here not know what parity of esteem is? Okay, all right. So this is talking about how careers in the trades are a part of post-secondary education, and the value and the life experiences and the careers that people in the trades will have are very, very comparable to what anybody who is undertaking post-secondary degrees can have as well. And that is very like little known information. And I can tell you that some of the most successful, wealthy, affluent individuals that I have met are people who have had careers in the trade. So that's what Parity of Esteem is about, to talk about how valuable these positions are. So with all of these programs available to build and upgrade skills, it's clear that young Albertans have some amazing opportunities in the years ahead. They just don't know enough about what these opportunities are. Many of these opportunities are careers in the skilled trades, a career pathway that has just as much value to Alberta's transitioning energy sector and overall economy as other post-secondary credentials. Careers in the trades offer just as many benefits, often much more in terms of job satisfaction, work flexibility, and quality of life. To help make that point, through Budget 2023, we're investing more than $44 million in organizations that build awareness and opportunities for apprenticeship education and skilled trades professions. Now, let's talk about micro-credentialing, and this is going to be directly relevant to many of you here who are environment professionals. Since 2021, Alberta Advanced Education has invested more than $1.2 million for 14 micro-credential programs to support the energy sector at 8 post-secondary institutions. The micro-credential programs we've supported are diverse. They include a range of subjects, from energy efficiency and architecture, engineering and construction, to bioenergy and biofuel, solar energy, and renewable energy technology. So again, these micro-credentialing opportunities are very relevant to the work that you are doing. These micro-credential programs are allowing unemployed or underemployed Albertans to pivot in their careers, to enhance their careers, or re-enter the workforce. Recognizing the clear advantages of these very adaptable and efficient programs, we are investing $8 million to create more micro-credential learning opportunities in partnership with industry. Okay, of course, we also want to make Alberta a leading destination for talented individuals from around the world. One of the goals of our government's Alberta 2030 Building Skills for Jobs strategy is to strengthen internationalization. Through a variety of measures, we're helping trained tradespeople from other countries get certified to work in Canada more quickly. And for their part, post-secondary institutions want to attract more international students to their programs. Has everybody heard about the situation with the cap on international students? Yes, and believe me, I have heard so many concerns, both from industry as well as from post-secondaries. We're still waiting for details here in Alberta on how this cap will affect us, including how many international students that we'll receive. And I'm very much looking forward to speaking to the federal minister, Minister Miller, about these impacts and how we can ensure that the needs of our economy, communities, students, and post-secondary institutions are considered. So that dialogue will be ongoing. And that is my update from Advanced Education. And so I think I will just conclude by saying that there is so much happening in this space in terms of the energy transition, in terms of ESG, in terms of what's going to be happening with CCUS. So the opportunities are tremendous. There are jobs that we can't even imagine today that will be implemented in the next 5 to 10 years. It's a very exciting space for all of you who are professionals in the environmental sphere and energy sphere. And certainly as your partner in government, I look forward to engaging with you more, to hearing your feedback, and to understand how we can help you as government to be more successful. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Kevin, to share a few thoughts from the Government of Alberta. And I will be around for about an hour if anybody has any questions or wants to chat further. Thank you once again.